Fuck, I pressed record and didn't even get my thoughts together. Okay. So like when I was just watching this one video of what's his name? Is it C.T. Fletcher? And so like it just I watch these videos and some things pop in my head and I all right. So I noticed that when it comes to a lot of athletes and a lot of people that I'm saying, when I say athletes, people that do specific sports, like a sport, and then people that do like weightlifting and all the other stuff, right? I noticed that most of them say that they can't do it anymore is because it, like, other than like they have to like keep getting surgeries, or they have to like fucking they have to, you know what I'm saying, they got some injury, they got to do something over and over again, like you can see, I noticed, like, you can see when someone's body begins to atrophy throughout, especially when they get older. And I always question why that was. I'm like, why do they look old when then they're not? Now, I know there's other factors than, just them grinding every day, beating their body up every day, and, just trying to, I know there's drugs, I know there's alcohol, I know there's sleepless nights, I know there's stress on stress on stress. I know there's a lot of things that go on in an athlete's life, or just a person that's very active, even in the mind, even, just a person that may not go to the gym or do things, but they move a whole bunch, or they're always thinking a whole lot and things like that. That, I always, question, what made you look 63 at 33, at 43? Like, why do you look as done as you do? What do you look like that? And I noticed, like, the only thing that can come, that pops into my head, that comes into my mind, is that when they, because I noticed that, like, you're naturally gonna have pinches, you're naturally gonna have, like, just little kinks and different little things, and that is most likely going to constrict you and restrict certain blood flow and certain things, so you're not getting supply to certain spots in your body. So, like, if your body continues to get compounded this way, and you continue to already have a lack of blood supply and whatever else you're not getting to your body because there's too much restriction, and like I said, your muscles just being so compounded together, that it starts to take, a form, and then it seems that it just starts to wither, because it's just being. And what I mean, and I'm saying, is these people, what I'm like kind of getting to, is these people never really take a chance or a second to just not. They don't take enough of a break to just not and figure out. Like, they don't plan. Most athletes I've noticed they only think that, like, if they're not in pain, if they're not, feeling the day, if they don't feel like absolute shit, then they don't feel like they did anything. And I know, like I said, I would feel certain type of ways when I would do certain things, and I would get out and try to, And every single day, just over time, it was just like, why don't I feel like this is enough? I'm hurting, I'm tired, my body, but at some point, because I'm doing so much, it's kind of like, I notice when you get that runner's high, or when you get on that, like, sprinters, and I mean, like, when you're really booking it, or when you just got that good pace, even if you're a marathon runner, but you're, like, really, like, at the last bit, and you just gotta give it, and you just feel like you're not even there, you're just floating. You know what I mean? You just kind of just, and I would question, like, I would get to this point to where it's like, I'm hurting, but I'm not. Like, I am, but I'm not. But because I move so much, and because so much blood is pumping, and I'm getting so much circulation all day, every day, and because my mind is racing so much all day, every day, and because I'm not properly having, like, giving good, like, outlets to myself every day. I'm not really, it's just hardcore, this, that, and the third, me trying to get this, that, and the third, me feeling like this, that, and the third, me, attracting this, that, and the third. Like, there's no more to than me just, and there's not a whole lot of thought behind what I'm really, like, of course, I'm aware, I know, but all I know is that I don't want my body to hurt. I know I need to do certain things, but I'm not really doing them, or I don't really know if I'm doing it right, or don't know what I'm doing if I'm taught certain things. And it's never enough for me to be able to, like, drink, go find a goddamn river myself to drink, you know what I mean? Map out the stars and go get to a river myself. And I didn't like that. And so it's like, well, what, because I remember asking this one yoga instructor, like, what, okay, I'm doing the star pose, I'm doing the pigeon pose, I'm doing all this, I'm opening the book, I'm doing the wiggle, I'm doing the feet, foot, all that, man. I do this every day. I do the runner's pose. I can name it, boo. I do it. Why am I still hurting? Why is my body still hurt? Why, what's going on with me? What's, and I notice it's like, because I'm so constricted, my muscles are already so twisted up and compounded, it's so compacted. There's not enough, there's too much tension to where there's not enough air, there's not enough just circulation within me. I'm always overheated because I'm so, if you ever notice those dudes that really work out a lot, they look smooth and kind of like pressed in almost, like everything just kind of seems sucked in, you know what I mean? It's like that muscle is so, and hasn't been, because you think about it, think how many people you go to touch and you try to get in certain areas and they will lose they can't take it. Like, you go to, like, get in there, like stab in the underarm or something like that, you know what I mean? And they're freaking out, and they're like, you can't, pretty much why, but they can't figure out, like, what's going on. It's fascinating to know, like, that you don't need to have none of that, and somebody else doesn't have to do it for you. Like, you can take that journey onto yourself. But I would always question it, like, why, okay, I do all these positions, I do all this stretching, I do all this yoga, I do all this stuff. Why am I still feeling, like, constricted? Like, why don't I still feel as flowy as I know as I can be? Like, I know that my body can do more. Why is it not doing more? What's holding me back, knowing I'm stretching as much as I can? You know what I'm saying? I'm doing as much as I can do, and it ain't doing, and I'm still hurting. Like I said, the big one was why, even though no matter how much I stretch, like, there's still certain points, like in my hip, pelvic floor, certain parts of my abs, my stomach, I can't, I feel like, because I do so much and I open so much and I try to, like, be warm as much as I can and try to stretch and be good for a good, you know what I'm saying? And, like, for some reason it's not working. I still feel like I'm hurting. And most people couldn't really give me an answer, and that hurt my heart, because I'm like, you're a yoga teacher. You're supposed to know, about the body, the breath, what's going on. Like, what did you learn in class? Like, why? And I'm not, no shade to these people, to this specific woman especially I'm thinking of, but why? What makes it so difficult? Like, what is it that you need an answer? Because I need an answer, and I don't like that you don't know. That really that gets to me, that you don't know, because I'm young, and I think in my head that, you're an adult, for one, or you're at least older than me, because I'm probably like 20 something at this point or whatever. So it's like you're just a little bit older than me, and you gotta. I don't know about the world enough to know or not know if you know or not know. So it's like in my head, why don't like what? I ain't giving none of that, but it's like what? Why? So it's like. I felt hurt because it's like, dude, I feel like I don't know where else I'm gonna, like who else? Because it seems like if this person doesn't know, or I ask certain other people, and they have no clue, or they kind of give me the stone face, or answers I just don't feel like is enough. It kind of deters me a little bit, but at least it did. So I would question stuff like that, and I noticed like going through this little journey that I'm going through, you know why that is. I now know what is making me feel this way, and it mainly is because people don't, like I said, have the wherewithal of like having to, like breathe it out yourself, do it yourself, or all day. Because I know people do a lot of like therapy. Because I know that's what I'm getting to is like people do a lot of therapy. They either let someone else do it or they do it for themselves, but they only do like the typical bands, this movement, that movement, do your breathing. But I know that people don't know at this point that people, you're not isolating, and like it's there's a lot more isolation to do if to really tap into yourself. You're like, and that's why I really like to advocate, hey, learn how to do this yourself. Learn how to like go, if you can go to a class, massage or whatever like that, but learn how to like do all of this for you. Because if you, like I said, you take your time and you massage and you breathe and you learn how to isolate your muscles and all that stuff, it'll start to come to you like what you need to do. you know it makes sense. But so I know this is like there's not enough emphasis on. I mean, now there's people are coming to them. There being more of an emphasis on recovery and isolating. I know that a lot of Russians have it because they've been on the whole twisting and all the stretching and things like that, which is spot on. Like that's like this compacted. People are being injured constantly under duress and stress, and their body cannot, before you know it, they wonder why things are just, giving out. They can't figure out why things are just giving out on them. And them not being able to like finish any career that they do because like the biggest one that I've noticed was breathing. Is that I see all these athletes, and especially like because I watch a lot of fighting, a lot of these fighters that they're amazing athletes. they're phenomenal. People don't get how hard it really is to do even the simplest things in front of someone, even if it's just one person, even if you're by yourself. It might be easier by yourself, but even if you're by yourself, it's difficult to have to perform something in front of at least one other person. Some people can't even do it in their own rooms, right? So to go in front of hundreds to thousands of people, even 10 people, but all these people and have to perform. It's so much energy that it takes from you, and you want to give. So it's like this weird little like ritual sacrifice that you want to give yourself to them. You want to have that energy. You want to look a certain way. You want to feel like you're somebody, and so you have to perform as if you are. And technically it's a mask because who are you, type deal. But it drains you. It takes a lot out of you. And when you don't know how to breathe properly to be able to calm yourself down enough in those type of situations, where you just want to, you have the desire so immensely to know that you're gonna come out of this all good. You know, you're gonna come out of this all right. You're gonna be all right, and still look good in front of others while you do it, while you're still all right, and still not let people know that you were unbelievably terrified the entire time you were there. Is, you know, it's a feat to. So when you aren't able to breathe through it all properly, it's a tough and tall order, if you will. And I notice that's what I mean. I notice these athletes are amazing. They can push and push and push, and it's just phenomenal to watch. Especially the ones that really know how to use that cardio or that, you know, endurance and all that, and really implement certain strategies and have that down packed to a science. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But I just noticed that they have a hard time breathing. And I don't like seeing that. I don't like seeing that people work that hard to not be able to like last, because they're so compacted and like strung out, and, you know, and overworked, and they're stressing because, you know, they feel the way they feel, and they feel like, well, if I do this, that, and the third, then then I'll be good on this and this, that, and before you know it, it's like, dude, this is just second knee surgery. You know what I'm saying? How's your back, sir? How are you? You know, how's your neck? Stiffness, you know, that's a big one. And I know that a lot of it comes from people not breathing enough and opening themselves enough to where they're not as stiff and as rigid, because it's so important. I see so many great people like that are really good kickboxers and things like that, and they have this very like stiff mechanical movement, and it's interesting to see that he's as good as he is and he does what he does, but you can tell that man, he's in pain. There's no way he's not. You know, there's no way. I don't see how he's not. So, you know, so yeah, I hope a lot of athletes get on board, because, you know, it's important to get this type of awareness. I think that's just the biggest part of it. Just as long as you can get the awareness of it. Because if you know at some point, oh, okay, well, you know, I'm destroying my body, and I think that if I continue to overwork my body, then I'm gonna come out on top. I'm gonna come through with something good at the end of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna happen. You will think that you need to get surgeries. You will think that you have to go to a doctor or a therapist or someone to help fix you, because you didn't take the precautions enough and look up enough things and have enough knowledge to be able to do it yourself. You know? And so, yeah, man, just breathe. Just breathe. Just breathe, man. That was just like the same thing I was going through with like the other dude saying that he like sneezed his back out. You know, it's like, what I mean is, if I could only imagine, because I do a lot in my head, like what these people would have been like if they didn't have all these issues. You know, how many people wouldn't have retired? What life would have been like if people would have known, oh, I don't have to do the stretch bands. They're just a good alternative. There's still, I'm not saying that anything isn't something you shouldn't do. That is never the case. If anything, try it. Hopefully you don't, die. But do it. Try it. You know what you can and can't do in the realms, but you can push a little further too. Is what I mean. You can push a little further than what it's not that dangerous. If you really decided to. I've seen people hurt themselves because they thought they couldn't do it. So. Scraped all the knee up, the ankle. No, it was a shin. It was a shin. Scraped all the shin up. So yeah. It's funny. I remember I always have this one woman in my mind. Her name is Yogi Nora. I used to, funny enough, watch her on YouTube. Quite a bit. I might have to start getting back into that. I might not. Who knows? But, I just found her so cool because it's like she would always say, keep doing your yoga. You never know where your life might lead, or things like that. And it's like, what you might find, and it's like, buddy, buddy, it's a doozy. It's a doozer. So yeah, I appreciate people like that. Thank you, Yogi Nora, being a part of my journey. That's cool. Yeah, I don't think I choose to be isolated in any way, but it is what it is, and I choose to, see what they got. I'm always open to things like that. But I find myself when I am sitting here alone, like I really like come to terms with the thought of being in this alone and going through the whole yoga thing, the whole yoga journey. It's pretty cool because it's like, because I remember in jiu-jitsu trying to, like, when I first started trying to give like testaments and stuff and just being so hard to like give myself. But when I first, going through this yoga journey, it's really cool because it's like, I didn't, I really had no clue that I would be at this point in my life. At least within myself. To know what I know is seems like a truth to me, Seems like something you can't really refute. And I like that. I like that because I've always had so many things in my life that, because I'm a real imaginative type, that I would just, blurt out, let's say it, just want to just tell a stories, whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Lies. And, I forgot my point. Wait, can I go back and listen to this while I think I can. I can go back and listen to it. Let me see. Right, so now that I can have something that's like concrete for myself, you know what I mean? Like it's real cool to be able to like say, hey, you know what I mean? Like I'm making history, I guess. or something. I'm making a fucking audio. That's what I'm doing. I'm making an audio. Uh, and that's all right, because I don't normally do these, and now I have something to do while I ain't doing nothing. So just talk about whatever I want to talk about, really. But that was mainly just, having something to like. This is like, yoga brought me to here, and I didn't know really what here was back then, and now I know what it is. You know what I mean? So, and it's nice because, Lord, the sleepless nights. Oh. So it's cool to kind of like be able to, like, at a younger age, being able to relax within my body, And I thought this was gonna be a lot weirder doing these, just audios and whatever, because I don't want to do the video mainly because it's just like, I could, I can't really, like, I can do what I want, but I like knowing that you don't know what I'm doing. Mainly. And that I get to do and move however I want and wear what I want. You don't see it. You can't see it. And that's wonderful, because I don't like having to put up a front. And even though I'm not, it's like, there's something different about a video. So I'm sure people that do videos know about it. So, and also just no. So yeah, but it's not, because I thought this was gonna be way weirder to just put my thoughts out. So I'm kind of glad that I like took my time a little bit. I'm also kind of sad that I didn't do more, because I could have, but me doing these audios makes me feel a lot better, because it makes me feel like kinda a little bit, because I know there's other things to worry about, or at least kind of have some type of, like, awareness of. But it gives me somewhere to just, and just be cool about it. And that's cool, man. I think even if I don't really, like, I like doing this. It's cool. I like doing it. It's cool, And that's why I'm gonna stick with that. So yeah, man. Fun stuff. Definitely helps calm me out. Like, cause I always thought that, it was kind of like, you know what I mean? Just like, it'd be weird just like talking to nothing. But, when you take into account that you're pretty much always doing that anyway, you don't get paid for it. You kind of like, it put things into perspective a little bit. So it's like, you know what? People's thoughts and opinions slowly dwindle away. Along with the give a fuck you no longer have. You know what I'm saying? You're not doing nothing. You could be doing something, and the only reason why you're not doing nothing is because of something. Somebody. Another motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? But I hope y'all enjoy it, whatever I'm doing, because that's what it is. What it is. I'm just chilling, maybe trying to think of some thoughts, but I mean, that's all I wanted to get out. It would be nice to have someone to talk to, too, though. That'd be fun. But I'm right here for now.